Coming up on Network Africa. Southern Africa Regional Bloc SADC agrees to extend the stay of regional troops battling insurgents in northern Mozambique. Mali summons the French envoy over President Emmanuel Macron's comments. Plus, World Food Programme warns of a humanitarian catastrophe as it struggles to deliver aid to Tigray in Ethiopia. Hello and welcome to the program. I'm Layo Adegoke. The Southern Africa Regional Bloc, SADC, has agreed to extend the presence of regional troops battling insurgents in the northern region of Mozambique. Mozambique's President Filipe Nyusi confirmed the extension after an extraordinary summit which was called to assess the performance of the soldiers. The first phase of the regional troop deployment was scheduled to end on October 15. President Nyusi says Mozambique is satisfied with the assessment made so far and that the situation had improved significantly in the affected areas. Also, the summit paid homage to 3 soldiers who died while on mission in Mozambique. More than 3,000 people have been killed and 820,000 others displaced since militants launched an insurgency in 2017. Mali's foreign ministry has summoned France's ambassador to protest against comments by French President Emmanuel Macron on the country's military-dominated government. The foreign ministry said it had summoned the French ambassador to inform him of the authorities' indignation and disapproval. President Macron had accused Mali's military authorities of abandoning their responsibilities, saying it is not the role of the French army to fill in for what he described as the non-work of the Malian state. Mali's foreign ministry is now calling on the French authorities to show restraint and avoid value judgments. Last month, Mali's interim Prime Minister Choguel Maïga accused France of abandoning the nation mid-flight after the European country decided to reduce its troops, thereby up to half. Relations between the two countries have deteriorated since last year's military coup in Mali. Well, a group of elite soldiers from across Europe are helping to turn the tide in the decade-long Islamist insurgency that has killed thousands of civilians in the Sahel. The troops are part of the Takuba Task Force, who are taking on Mali's elusive militants in the band of arid terrain south of the Sahara Desert.
Patrolling in pickup trucks and motorcycles with Malian soldiers, these troops are part of the Takuba Task Force, a group of elite soldiers from across Europe. The force is also at the center of a political row. Takuba was established as a partial successor to Barkhane, France's 5,000-strong counter-terrorism operation in the Sahel that French President Emmanuel Macron wants to reduce by as much as half. However, the French troops are still involved in the new mission. Mali, however, says France is abandoning its former colony and its ruling junta is reportedly seeking a deal with Russian military contractor, the Wagner Group, a move France is trying hard to block. The soldiers' mission is a familiar one: approach a village near the Nigerian border undetected and uproot Islamic State-affiliated militants suspected of killing 50 civilians in the area.
We are deployed with our Malian partners around a village in which we received information that a number of terrorists are hidden inside. For the past 2 days, we've been in the area doing surveillance as well as mobile patrols around this village. The goal is to disrupt the enemy's activity as much as possible.
The methods are new, however. Takuba is using smaller, more mobile units with lighter equipment that travel mostly at night and that commanders say better suits the conflict. Not far from a village where the soldiers said militants were hiding out, heavy rain flooded their makeshift camp. The truck's tires were engulfed in mud, and it took 3 hours to get them out. The blare of their revving engines pierced the morning calm and exposed their position.
We are facing two major difficulties. The first one is we are in the rainy season, so the roads are unusable. And the only roads that are usable are well known by the terrorists, so they can easily follow our movements. The second difficulty is that the terrorists have a well-developed network of informants in the region that are able to inform them on all our activities.
Game-changing tactics are sorely needed in the Sahel, where violent attacks across Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso increased eightfold in 2015 to 2020, and that's according to the United Nations. This has driven 2 million people from their homes and left swaths of territory out of government's control.
The International Committee of the Red Cross is warning that the climate crisis in Mali is making an already dire situation there much worse. The country consists mainly of desert or semi-desert, and water is becoming a dwindling precious resource. A dry bed is what remains of Lake Faguin, situated 80 kilometers west of Timbuktu. Now, sand dunes have replaced the vast expanse of water, and the temperature reaches 50 degrees Celsius. With very little water left in parts of the lake, herders are losing their livestock as they travel further in search of water and food. And with grazing land becoming scarce, conflict is commonplace between herders and farmers. Experts in the region are asking for immediate action from world leaders. Mali in West Africa is one of the poorest countries in the world, and it's also considered one of the most vulnerable to climate change. Here in Nigeria, the Nigerian Navy is set to begin a 2-day sea exercise codenamed Shark Shivers on the Gulf of Guinea alongside its Italian and French counterparts. The flag officer commanding Western Naval Command, Rear Admiral Jason Gbassa, made this known while receiving the consular generals of both countries in his office in Lagos. The Navy is expected to deploy their air and surface assets, which include 5 naval vessels. Our correspondent Chris Illems has this report.
The headquarters of the Western Naval Command is quite busy as it plays host to the consul generals of the Italian and French embassies in separate visits. They've come in respect of a 2-day sea exercise codenamed Shark Shivers to strengthen the bond that exists among the countries as well as strengthen maritime security. The Consul General of the Italian Embassy, who is first to arrive, addresses the FOC. He harps on relationship both countries enjoy and the need to keep oiling the military cooperation.
This piracy is still very dangerous, but is reducing. And to reduce, I think that it's due also to our cooperation always in place, and that I hope that we will be strengthened in the future.
Next, the Consul General of the French Embassy leads her team to the FOC's office. Also in respect of the military exercise, she says it will afford the Navy scenarios adapted to current threats on the Gulf of Guinea.
It includes different operations of interception of pirates, tracking of smugglers, rescue actions, and even diving under hull.
In his remark, the flag officer commanding Western Naval Command, Rear Admiral Jason Gbassa, explains the significance of the activities which will see the Navy deploy a number of its air and surface assets.
The exercise we are about to carry out is one of such initiatives to see to us addressing the negative acts being conducted by some elements in our waters, acts such as piracy, sea robbery, trafficking in humans and narcotics.
The Gulf of Guinea cuts across 18 sovereign states, holds huge mineral deposit, and it's a major transit point for multinational business transactions. So keeping it safe from criminal elements will help preserve its usefulness to international trades and maritime cooperation. Chris Elams, Channels Television News.
The federal government of Nigeria, in collaboration with governors of troubled Northwest Zone, are working to restore peace in all hotspots in the geopolitical region. The Sokoto State Governor, Aminu Tambuwal, stated this when he led a delegation to 2 displaced persons camps in Niger Republic.
The federal government, in collaboration with governors of the northwestern region of Nigeria, are working to restore peace in all the areas that have security challenges. The Sokoto State Governor, Aminu Tambuwal, stated this when he led the delegation to the 2 displaced persons camps in Dandaji Moko and Garukin Kaka, or the Maradi region of Niger Republic. The delegation comprises of different heads of security agencies in the state. Governor Tambuwal says efforts are on to ensure the displaced persons are relocated back to Sokoto and resettled among their own people. It will be recalled that the recent banditry activities in the eastern flank of the state led to many deaths and displaced thousands of people.
It is unfortunate that this has happened. It wasn't our desire, but we are working hard in collaboration with our government, the Federal Republic of Nigeria, under the leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari, to establish peace in all of the affected areas, not only in Sokoto State, but in the entire country.
Majority of the displaced persons in the Nigerian camps are from Sabon Birni local government area of Sokoto State. Governor Tambuwal commends the displaced persons for the report of their good conduct and abiding with the laws of their host communities. He further appeals to them to continue in that light while awaiting the completion of the arrangement to relocate them to their homes in Sokoto State.
All of the donor agencies that have been supportive of these refugees that are here, we appreciate your support and cooperation, and we assure you that we are working hand in hand with the government of Niger Republic in ensuring that, by the grace of God, soonest these individuals and citizens of ours are taken back to their respective homes in Nigeria.
The governor says 10 truckloads of assorted grain and food items will be supplied to the camps and support from the state government. It's also revealed that a bilateral meeting has been scheduled to hold between the officials of Niger and the Northwest governors of Nigeria, where security issues will top the agenda.
Ethiopia's Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has announced his new cabinet after being sworn in 2 days ago following his party's victory in June's controversial elections. 3 ministerial positions have gone to figures from the opposition party. Behanu Nega is the leader of the Ethiopian Citizens for Social Justice Party, which won a few seats in the election, and he's been appointed the Minister of Education. He once founded an outlawed rebel group and first rose to prominence in controversial and bloody elections in 2005, when his then party won an unprecedented high number of seats. Belete Mola is the head of the national movement of the Amhara and has been appointed Minister of Innovation and Technology. Kejela Medasa from the once banned Oromo Liberation Front has been given the post of Minister of Culture and Sports, while nearly all the seats in the elections were won by the Prime Minister's party. Facebook whistleblower Frances Haugen says the social media platform was used to fan the flames of violence in Ethiopia. In her testimony before a U.S. Senate subcommittee, she said the social media giant could be used dangerously if action is not taken. The former Facebook employee also said the company gives priority to its profits over the safety of users. In 2019, Facebook was blamed for the spread of violence in Ethiopia after an Oromo activist, Jawa Mohammed, accused the government of endangering his life, sparking massive protests. However, Facebook says it has a policy of working to fight the spread of false news, adding that it does not agree with Ms. Haugen's characterization of the many issues she testified about. Still ahead on the program. Congo seeks UNESCO's recognition for the beloved Rumba dance. Please stay with us. Welcome back to the program. The United Nations World Food Programme says it has completed a first round of food distribution in Ethiopia's Amhara and Afar regions. However, it is warning of struggles to deliver aid in Tigray, where war broke out about 11 months ago.
For Nobit Sahile Kide and her 7-year-old son, it's a welcome sight. Supplies of vegetable oil, wheat and pulses. But the World Food Programme is warning that others in Ethiopia are facing a humanitarian catastrophe as it struggles to reach all those affected by the conflict that erupted out of Tigray. 11 months of violence have displaced more than 2 million people, including Nobit, who is now staying with distant relatives in the town of Debak. She says she and her 4 children traveled by foot to escape fighters.
As we were on foot, we had to cross a river that could have drowned us, but some people helped us to cross as they were children with us. It was very challenging. Some people were injured during our escape, and we had to hide in the villages along the way.
And those 2 regions are where the WFP says it had completed a first round of food distribution.
The United Nations World Food Programme, WFP, has completed its first round of food distributions to people impacted by the spread of conflict into Afar and Amhara regions. However, a lack of supplies due to various impediments to the movement of humanitarian aid still sees distributions in Tigray lagging behind.
Another WFP spokesperson, Gemma Snowden, said operations have been expanded as Tigray's conflict has spread in northern Ethiopia.
As conflict spreads across northern Ethiopia, it's having a very real impact on the families caught up in its path with food insecurity rising. WFP is expanding its operations across northern Ethiopia to meet these growing needs, and it's absolutely vital that we're able to reach all of the communities where people are in need of food assistance before we have a humanitarian catastrophe on our hands.
But a lack of supplies and other issues caused by the conflict means distributions in Tigray are lagging. Last week, the UN's aid chief, Martin Griffiths, said he assumes famine has taken hold in Tigray. He said a nearly 3-month de facto blockade has restricted aid deliveries to 10% of what is needed. Ethiopia, which last week announced it was expelling 7 senior UN officials, has previously denied blocking food aid.
The UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs has condemned the deportation of Somalis in the self-declared Republic of Somaliland. The agency placed the number of people forced out of their homes at 1,000. It says it had information that those deported had lived in the area for nearly 20 years. The agency also says it's concerned about the reports of additional forced displacements planned in the coming days by Somaliland. Somaliland deported people from southern Somalia on Sunday, citing insecurity. Those who had been deported were being looked after in Puntland. Violence and access constraints in the east of the Democratic Republic of Congo continues to hamper humanitarian operations in the country. This is according to Bintu Keita, head of the UN Stabilization Mission in the DRC, MONUSCO, who highlights 2 main challenges: the security and protection of civilians in the east and the process of democratic consolidation in DRC.
As we approach the renewal of MONUSCO's mandate, I believe that the joint transition plan constitutes a roadmap that can help guide the work of the mission in the coming years and prepare the ground for its orderly and responsible withdrawal. This must not obscure the fact that there is still much to do to silence the guns in the eastern provinces, foster the political dialogue necessary to pave the way for credible and transparent elections in 2023, and support the long-term strengthening of the country's institutions. I reiterate the need for an inclusive and peaceful electoral process founded on dialogue, trust, and transparency. To this end, MONUSCO continues to pursue its good offices with actors across the political spectrum, including to advocate for increased women's participation in this process.
And to more positive stories from the Democratic Republic of Congo, they have launched a campaign to put Congolese Rumba, a music style that entertained revelers in Central Africa for generations, on UNESCO's list of intangible cultural heritage. The aim is to recognize the historical importance of a dance that came to prominence in the 1940s and has inspired musicians from across the continent.
Perched on a corner of the stage as an open-air club in Congo's capital, Kinshasa, Mande Chante sings a classic rumba song that has been an anthem for anti-colonial movements in Africa for more than 50 years. The 1960 hit by Congolese icon Le Grand Cas politicians to put aside their differences to achieve independence debuted during negotiations for Congo's liberation from Belgium, electrifying delegates. Within 4 months, Congo was free. Mande, who sings Rumba classics every Friday with his band Bana OK, holds a particular reverence for the song and the entire rumba genre.
In fact, rumba has many characteristics. It existed for more than 50 years. I have lived my whole life with the rumba. If you look at the rumba now, we have elevated and developed it. Although we have kept our references to the icon Le Grand Kali, Papa Wemba, Simaramasia, and Tabule.
61 years later, rumba remains at the core of music made across Africa, and the movement has emerged to cement its reputation and secure its protection. Authorities in Kinshasa and Brazzaville, the capital of neighboring Congo Republic, have submitted a joint bid to add Congolese rumba to the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural List of Intangible Cultural Heritage.
Rumba is our creation. Rumba is us. Rumba is our life. Rumba is our vision. That's why we want the rumba to be recognized as our own. It is our identity. Rumba is Congolese.
Andre Yoka, director of the National Institute for the Arts in Kinshasa, is leading Congo's candidacy for UNESCO status.
Our ancestors were deported to the Americas in the 15th and 16th centuries and went either to North America, Central America, or South America, but the focal point was Cuba. So in Cuba, there was a surprising mixture from those who came from Africa, but also from the ones the slaves had encountered once there.
The name rumba derives from Nkumba, literally meaning belly button in the local language, which was the naval dance in the ancient Kingdom of Congo, according to Congo's submission to UNESCO. Regardless of the campaign's outcome, the importance of rumba to Congolese society is not lost on UNESCO. To Jean-Pierre Ulbudu, UNESCO's representative in Kinshasa, its recognition is important for everyone. UNESCO will announce its decision in November.
And that's it on the program for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Layo Adegoke.